I'm Mike Rogers here at the assignment desk. Winner of Sports Central for a press conference happening right now with the Los Angeles Fire Department at the container ship fire in San Pedro. Let's listen in.
And that's what we're taking a look at.
Do we have an indication of the type of hazardous gases that are being vented off? How far is the danger area? I mean, you're telling your people are under self-contained breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
Is there any risk?
So what our warning is, it's going to be a shelter-in-place warning that we're going to be issuing to the public. What that warning is going to say is, if you can smell it, you want to stay indoors. Turn off your air conditioning units so that if put your car on recirculating. So it's a shelter in place, meaning that you don't want to have that air coming in. So if you can smell it, then you probably need to go to different.
What can you tell us about?
We have 0 injuries at this time.
The Vincent Thomas Bridge, is that shut down? Is anyone going to be coming into the port on either way through the Vincent?
So right now it's just the 4 terminals have been. The workers are no longer there, but we have not given any no closures or evacuations at this time.
4 terminals have been shut down. How much is that going to impact the overall operation of the port itself?
I can't speak on that. That's going to be something that the Port Authority would have to speak on. So
at this point, we are talking about getting any kind of a handle on this thing for what, 6 or 8 hours or more at a minimum?
that is unknown at this time. Right now, this is still an active firefight, and that's undetermined because of how much. That's undetermined this time.
Is there any kind of a risk of the ship taking on water, capsizing, sinking, anything else like that? Because you're pumping an awful lot of water on there to keep these things cool or to put the flames out.
Yeah, that's again, that's going to be a question for the experts there. Right now, what we're doing is we are surrounding this. We have boats surrounding it. We have firefighters that are cooling off the whole of the ship, and it's unknown the duration how long that's going to take. But likely it's going to continue through the night. Can you repeat the question?
The initial hesitation was working towards the bottom part of the ship.
Yeah, they have the very specific locations, and they directed our firefighters to those locations. So out of the 23 people who were on the ship, they had a total of 17 were taken off by shuttle. There was another 6 there that are helping our firefighters and helping them to specifically go to the areas that are the biggest target hazard. So, but everybody in proximity to that is on the self-contained breathing apparatus. So yeah, right now that's all the information that I have. We'll get more information as we get it. If you go to LAFD.org alerts, that's where we're putting our most up-to-date information.
Adam, you're giving that. You've got a representative from the Coast Guard here. Can the Coast Guard representative explain what the Coast Guard's mission or function is here?
Not at this time. We're still looking into it and investigating, but we'll have more info.
Not away from the microphones. Come on.
Okay, we've been listening to a press conference on this ship fire in the port here in San Pedro. It's the port of LA. We heard the fire captain there talking about a shelter-in-place order. Basically, if you can smell something, stay inside and try to prevent breathing that in. Put the car on circulation.
Yeah, the good thing.
Go ahead.
The good thing is that they have no closures to report, and certainly no evacuations at this hour. As you mentioned, Rudabeh, they're asking people to shelter in place if they live in the area. They also say that they are surrounding this fire, and the firefight will probably continue well into the night. So there's not a lot of word exactly on the Coast Guard that was also on site there. What they're firefighting or what they might be doing at this hour is too early to tell.
Yeah, we will stay on it, though, and of course bring you updates throughout the 11 p.m. newscast. Now, right now, we want to get back to Sports Central and Jim. In with our breaking news, a container ship on fire at the Port of L.A.
And Desmond Shaw is live overhead in SkyCal to give us the very latest. We just had a press conference, Des.
Right, Pat and Rudabeh, and we actually just confirmed with CHP that there is going to be one pretty significant closure over this electrical fire on top of this container ship. That's the Vincent Thomas Bridge. Both sides are going to be shut down between the ports and San Pedro until further notice. So this firefighting effort right there, you can actually see CHP going up on the bridge as we speak. So no injuries on this. All crew have been accounted for. That's the good news. The bad news is that we believe at least 40 containers have either burned or been damaged by this fire, and there may be some hazardous materials on board, which is part of the reason for the bridge closure and also the reason why we're showing you from so far away. There is a flight restriction. They're asking us to be 1 mile back or otherwise very high over the top of it. We do have some earlier pictures to show you, though, when we were pretty close to the firefighting effort taking place there from the hull of the ship, as well as from the harbor. You see here from LA City Fireboat, which has been dousing this for many, many hours now, but they've actually gotten all of the personnel off of the ship, and so you see them over here, and they're using these hook and ladders to basically put some master streams, some high pressure streams there into the fire area, which is all below deck. That's another thing that's really complicated. This is not on top of the ship. It's basically, you know, inside of the ship, possibly 3 or 4 floors that have been burning. But again, no injuries on this one, but it is a very complicated and very long firefighting effort that does not look like it's anywhere near being wrapped up. Live in Skycal overhead, I'm Desmond Shaw. Pat and Rudabank, back to you in the studio.
Desmond, thank you. And CBS LA assignment editor Mike Rogers on the desk monitoring this fire as well.
Well, Mike, there have been a lot of different tools used to try and deal with this intense fire.
Yeah, Pat and Rudabank, they've really been trying just as much as they can to try to get this fire under control. We'll look live back from Skycal. Now, one of the biggest things they've been trying to do is those fire boats. Those fire boats have been playing a big role because it's been keeping the temperature of the ship down enough that the firefighters have been able to kind of move around there. That was earlier on. Now they are in full-blown defensive mode. I want to show you a video from earlier, though, when you saw that fire boat really shooting the water up into the air here. This is Fireboat 2 from the LA City Fire Department. You've got another smaller boat that was helping out as well. And what they were doing was putting out a fire that was really starting to kick up on the side of the boat that the water is on. After they got that knocked down, they've just been really steadily putting water on it to try to keep everything cool because they can't get down to where the fire is burning. You see all of those containers that are on top. There's been a lot of talk about wanting to move those containers. A command decision was made that they were not going to. Firefighters had expressed kind of a little bit of frustration saying if we don't move those containers, we're never going to get to the seat of the fire, but they deemed it too dangerous to do that. They're also concerned now that some of those containers may start to collapse because of the intense heat that has been burning underneath of them for so long. Also on this fire, a helicopter that they've been using to try to get some thermal imaging done. That's Fire 6 that was been doing recon for the fire crews on the ground. In addition to that helicopter, they also brought out Intel 2-4. Intel 2-4 is a fixed-winged aircraft that we usually see mapping wildfires in our mountains or other places where they're burning. I don't know that I've ever seen Intel 2-4, that fixed-wing plane be used on an incident like this. But they were trying to do anything they could to get some good thermal imaging on it. Now, this also happened. We'll show you some more video because as Skycal was overhead, there was an explosion and the lights went out. They caused a power outage on that boat as well, on that ship rather, as well. When that explosion happened, fire crews think they know where it came from. They cordoned off the area, but are not turning the power back on out of fear that it could cause another explosion. What is also being impacted is the port's operations. Moments ago, the LA City Fire held a press conference where they talked about the closures and how they're dealing with this fire.
At this time, the incident is still growing. We have a total of 4 terminals have been shut down, meaning that the workers who are there are not going to be coming back at least until tomorrow morning.
Live now on the ground from our crew Francisco, and you can see the smoke billowing in the background with the port cranes in the foreground there. Now, as you heard him say, 4 dock operations have already been shut down. The Vincent Thomas Bridge has been shut down, so we are likely to start seeing some impacts here at the port, certainly at least with that ship that won't be able to go anywhere. One last look from Skycal here as they work to figure out how to deal with this. That fireboat has been pumping water for hours now and likely will through the early morning hours. And I can tell you, Pat and Rudabank, since we've been on this fire just before 8 o'clock, I can tell you the smoke has not dissipated. Usually we start to see the fire get better. I can tell you in this case, every time Desmond comes back to it, we have a conversation about, has this gotten worse? Is there more smoke than you were here last time? And that seems to constantly be the answer. So unfortunately, it doesn't sound like they're making a ton of progress, likely because of where this fire is burning and the very, very difficult access issues they're having. They're also worried about the ship starting to list with all of the water that they are pouring on. So that is constantly a concern for them as well. A really difficult operation tonight there in the Port of LA.
Well, if that's the case, they have to get everybody off for sure.
Yeah, they've already so all the firefighters they pulled off, they're in full-blown defensive mode right now, and they've got the ladder pipes that are pushing water on, but they're constantly having to be worried. They do still have a couple of people up in the bridge that are able to monitor some operations up there.
All right. A lot more than we thought.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mike.